If it beeped once, so it should be recording. If you want to start, we are recording.
Okay. Your Honor, Cindy, want to come on up?
Hi, Cindy McDonald, clerk for the district court. We are here today to discuss the daily fee that we currently pay to jurors. During a Teams chat that I had with the other 104 court clerks across the state, I learned that not only Dickinson County, but also the entire 8th Judicial District, which is Geary, Marion, and Morris counties, are paying lower jury fees compared to the other counties throughout the state. So KSA 43-171 says the minimum daily amount of juror fees is $10 and the maximum daily amount is $50. We also pay round trip mileage to jurors who live outside the Abilene city limits, and that current mileage rate is set by the IRS and is adopted by Dickinson County, and that's 70 cents per mile. So we currently pay $10 to each juror who appears that first day, and then $25 a day to jurors if that jury trial goes into a third day.
So we're not picking on Dickinson County. A similar event is going to take place in all 4 counties in the 8th. In Dickinson County, the item for jury fees is $27,000 in 2026. It's the second largest item on our budget. It rivals the computer services item. I can tell you the one thing that individuals, when they come in to serve as jurors, I hear the comment a lot, $10, Matt, get you a cup of coffee. The resolution that was passed previously that had the $10 per day, and then if you go into a third day, you get $25, was 2006. So we haven't visited this in almost 20 years. So what we're asking is that we, beginning January 1 of 2026, that anybody called in for that first day, so if you bring in 90 people that first day, they $10 a day. But the individuals that would be picked to serve, so either the 6 to 14 generally, would get $25 that day, and then $25 every day thereafter. And that would be our.
So it'd be 10 on everybody coming in, 25 once they're selected.
Right. And it wouldn't be 25 plus 10 for the ones selected. It would just be a flat.
Yeah, I assume that's how that would work. Okay.
I was curious. A couple of us have gotten applications for the federal side, sir, and I was curious what they pay.
By a lot more than
A lot more, I'm sure. I just filled out my wife's last night.
Okay.
I had to because I'm not sure she was going to on her.
I was just curious because.
Yeah, and I can sure look that up too and let you guys know. But I know it's going to be more than that, plus their travel. And I'm not sure if federal is a lot different than ours because they're going to either Wichita, Topeka, or Kansas City. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're paying their lodging expenses too.
And you're on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would this make us even, I guess, with most of the other counties? Would this make us
the
normal?
Bigger counties, they're paying $50 a day for the jurors who
Sure.
appear. And that's probably more of an enticement to get those jurors to actually appear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, usually 25 seems to be the main throughout. And there were only a handful of us who were still at 10. I mean, we've never discussed it before. Like Judge Sexton said, we do get the complaints that I can't survive on $10 a day. We're fortunate here that we get paid for jury duty if we have to serve, where other employers, they're not obligated to do that. So,
and if you have the individuals that are employed, their employer is going to generally pay them usually. But it's the self-employed, the individuals that go away from that job, right? That doesn't compensate them very well.
So we would love to give them more. I mean, we would love to be able to give them the max amount, but with our budget, it's just not possible. Plus, I know that we've already presented our 2026 budget. Hopefully, we can make some tweaks within our line item next year to even that out. But you're going to see an increase in that.
Any idea what you think? How much? What would you get? What are you guessing?
There's one person that has control over
that. I honestly did not guess, just because our jury trials fluctuate with how many days and how many jurors, because There are some that we're going to need, like you said, just 6 jurors, and then there's some where we're going to need 14 jurors.
Right.
So it could vary
We've had 8 jury trials
so far.
so far this year, and I know there's another 2 in the queue that are for sure going, and they're lengthy. The one will be a week long, and the other one will be maybe right at a week. And I will tell you, just to brag on our citizens of Dickinson County, the response that we get was outstanding. If you don't appear for jury duty, I do a show cause, and then bring them in and ask them if they come back in and serve in the jury pool. Don't fine them and don't hold them in contempt. But that number is not a very big number compared to how many show up. So the response is outstanding.
Yeah. I would probably say 85% of our jurors actually fill out the questionnaires and return them. Yeah, which is really, really good. Erie County is totally opposite.
Not that way.
Yeah.
So this might be more for Marcus. You're kind of the lineman. Well, so say this time of year next year, they've exceeded the 27,000 or so on. Is there, what is our remedy to?
Well, with this
other
being one that we're
funds.
not going to be certain on set number, we're going to have to get kind of some estimates. We're going to see it as it grows in the next couple of years, I suppose, because especially since we don't understand or know up front how many jury trials we're going to have or how many jurors are going to be on there. We're basically looking at, because we're already doing the $10 for everyone that comes at this point. So we're really just looking at who gets selected. So the 6, so you're going $15 extra times the 6 or the 12 to 14 per day. So the number of trial days. We could do some math on that pretty quick and probably come up with what that's going to be. But I don't think it's going to be something that will completely blow up for a budget. It's still going to be a general fund line item. And we can probably make adjustments to make sure that that's something, if you choose to move that route, would still work within the budget.
In all transparency, we're knocking on the door this year on the budget, and I think we've tried to keep Janelle up to speed on that. So we're going to be knocking on the door on the budget this year on the jury.
Right, because you've held more jury trials than what you were anticipating.
Right.
Yeah, so those are things that if that were to occur, with that still coming from the general fund, that's an item where we talk to you, just let you know, and just so you know, we're going to be over, district court's going to be going over by this much this year compared to our projections. Obviously, when we make those projections, we're doing a year and a half in advance, and it's just sometimes, especially if you don't know what attorneys are going to be involved or what cases are going to come in front of you, you really don't know how many jury trials you're going to have. So we'll get a better handle on that. I think now that we're getting some consistency, we're seeing these numbers probably over the next couple of years start to get a little more level and consistent. And we'll, I think probably by the time we're looking at the 2027 budget, probably have a pretty good set number for what we should be budgeting for 2027. I would say 2026 will likely be a little in question.
I would agree with
at this
that.
point. Yeah, absolutely.
Good to have a heads up on it. So, I mean, to me, it seems like a logical next step, and in hindsight, maybe it should have been revisited a few years ago.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
That's what it sounds like.
it's where we're at now. So,
I don't, if you guys don't have a problem with it, I'm fine with adding this to our agenda next week. I mean, if we think it's going to help.
January 1 of 26, or do you want to take, okay.
I just did quick math. I mean, I don't see it going much more than 10 to 15 grand. I mean, just if you had the same amount this year, it's about, I think, I'm not very good at math. Marcus.
I think you're close on that number, yeah.
And I will make sure you get your props in front of the jury, folks. I'll make sure that
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
If you
you.
need anything else,
Thank
let
you,
me know.
John.
well, thank you for all you do. I mean, obviously the judicial systems, I mean, my goodness, we need it, and it's,
You've been very good partners for us. We couldn't ask for anything more. And I mean, I know that sounds like probably second up to you, but you guys have been outstanding with recovery court and everything. You're a pleasure to work with.
It helps us do our jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're very welcome.
See you, Ben.
Bye-bye.
I will print a copy of that resolution.
We started it next year.
I don't see roads in here. Did we get that fixed? No? Dang it. I don't see roads in here.
You want me to see if she can come in early?
Probably.
Okay.
Unless, did you want to speak to us today?
Yes, please.
Okay, we got about 20 minutes. Is that enough
I
time?
just need.
Okay, we'll go ahead and come up, state your name and address, and let's.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is SJ. I am the owner of Super 8 Motel right on 570. I bought this property in 2022, and since then we had a really hard time over here dealing with the issues at the property, and we were this close to the disaster about to happen because of electrical issues in that building. And I called the inspector over here, the fire inspector, and we called the state to figure out what we can do. And they gave us a list of the things to upgrade all the system, and they shut us down for 1 month to do that, all this stuff, because we can't continue with those violations and all this stuff was happening. And there was other major issues, plumbing, and the rooms were not up to the mark and all this stuff. There was a lot of complaints from the customers. So we, because I bought that property, and that was my responsibility to get everything up to mark. But business was not that great. We were losing money every month. We had 12 full-time employees and 4 part-time employees. Our payroll was high after COVID. It was just skyrocketing. Nobody wanted to work in a hotel industry. We were going through a tough time right now. But we still kept the doors open. We went through all the recommendation, fire department and the state gave it to us. We upgraded the rooms. In all this process, we over budgeted ourselves, and we were under the debt of almost $500,000. And in that process, we were behind in the taxes, property taxes over here. And that's the reason I'm over here. And the county start charging us penalties and interest on top of everything. And we try to work out those penalty and the interest so we can start paying our property taxes to keep it going over here. So we have like 14 full-time employees now and working, and I think we are doing good now because we upgraded the rooms. Customer getting happy now, and we're getting more customers now. So we are in a position to pay the taxes now if we can have a payment plan in place, which I talked to the treasurer, and she said, yeah, we can do that. But my concern is the interest is too much and the penalties are too high. In any way, if we can waive that and then start paying the property taxes, I think we are good at that, and I will keep my doors open. Otherwise, I don't have a capacity now to pay all those expenses, including the property taxes. And we might need to shut down this place if we are not able to pay. So I want to leave it open. I want to keep my employees. They need a job, and they are local here. So all I need a help is if you guys can waive penalties and interest on your property taxes, and I will pay the rest.
I got a few questions for you. So you said you bought it in 22. I assume that was 21 you actually closed, or
21 I didn't bought it.
No?
I think 22.
So was that delinquent on that property already?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was already delinquent at that time.
So how did that work? He owed that delinquent tax?
Yes.
Okay. Because right now, I mean, it's a pretty big number. It's $200,000 you're behind in taxes on that building.
Yeah, that's include the penalty and interest and everything. But
so what kind of payment plan were you going to try to get to? I guess my concern is, are you going to be able to pay next year's taxes as well?
Oh yeah, we are doing good now. We are back, and because most of the money I was supposed to pay taxes went to the renovation and upgrade of this property. So we don't have that expense coming now. So we spend already almost $300,000. So if we don't spend the next few years, that money, that will go back to the property taxes. And I want to add this just to let you guys know. I bought another property in Alice County, Alice, Kansas, and they give me 10 years of tax abatement because they want to keep that hotel going because they were this close to shut that hotel down. And I jumped in and took over that place, which is doing great now. But they give me 10-year tax abatement on that property just to keep, the employee and all those stuff that's going on. And all those sales taxes and travel taxes we collected over here in the last 3-4 years is almost $300,000 in here and probably more over there in that. So we are doing good now than before. So we are ready to pay the taxes. All I need is help from you guys because I want to keep this property updated and open. And with your help, I can keep these doors open over here. That's all I'm asking.
Do you have any questions, commissioners?
Well, I guess one of my concerns was that, still these property taxes were due and it doesn't seem like there was any effort to keep that portion up.
No, that's what we're going forward. We're going to keep it up. We're going to pay this and we're going to pay next year taxes. We are in a position now because the business is doing well now than it used to be. So I think we will be able to pay now going forward.
I think what Lynn's getting at is there wasn't an effort to pay for the last 4 years. Not even.
That's what the reason I was saying that the property was not doing good. We were barely surviving. I was putting money out of my pocket. I lost $500,000 in the last 4 years.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
With
but,
upgrading and everything.
Most
While we were at the same time in Alice, we had a tax abatement and we were able to, keep those doors open without any problem. But over here at this property, we had problems.
You can't, that's the responsibility you took on buying the building. So I'm not trying to argue with you or tell you you have luck, but when you buy a business and property, you got to pay the tax on it. That's how it works here.
No, that's what I'm here to pay. I'm going to pay those taxes. I'm not denying those taxes. I'm asking just to help to, keep these doors open. If you take the penalties and interest out, so I can keep doing that.
And I'll let you know that we just had our county tax sale on residents who were delinquent, and we gave no set measures for them.
The residential don't create any jobs, don't collect any taxes. So we are collecting taxes. We have, jobs out here, people we are employing. So there's a difference between residential and commercial because we collect taxes. If this business is not here, we won't have jobs. There's a bowling alley shut down right next to us for years now. We are not collecting anything from there. They are not open. And when I bought this property, that was open. And then, we were getting customers from there too. Every weekend we were getting a lot of customers. And then they shut down and we lost the, revenue right there. So more business will shut down, more city will lose, the county will lose. If we will keep it open, I'm trying to, and I hope we will keep it open. But I need help from you guys because we are, bringing tax revenue to this city. So I think it's genuine to us.
Do you own the Super 8 Motel?
Yes.
You own it, bank,
Yes.
not finance?
No, it's bank finance, but I have a mortgage on it.
Okay, that's all I need.
I don't know where my fellow commissioners are. We don't make this exception for anybody. Even if a business went delinquent, I don't think we've ever gave an exception before. I'm sorry to hear you fell on hard times. I really am. But a lot of people have. We can't subsidize.
No, I'm not asking a
that,
tax
so.
abatement or anything. I'm asking just the penalties and the interest you guys charge. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking tax abatement. I'm paying taxes.
Well, we will take it into consideration.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rose, we're a little early. Are you ready?
Sure.
Come on up.
I just got a few things here for you guys if you want to look at them. I'll try to make this fast. Huh? Tell me to take my time. Good morning. Rose Johns, Registered Deeds. That first page there is just kind of an outline of these are the fees that we take in every day. So this is from the beginning of December of 24 to date. Reconciling account fees are when people put money in their accounts. That we have attorneys and title companies and things like that have an account here. So when they get documents, we just draw their funds out of that account and charge their account. Those additional fees are when we have a release of mortgage and they're releasing maybe 2 mortgages on that one release, we have to charge them extra for that. Our contract fees, that's the yearly contract that we do. We have 12 of those this year. And that brought in 56, well, actually, it brought in more than that because I don't have one on there that actually turned it in November, but we brought in like $6,600 in those contract fees. And that's for the title companies and there's a couple engineering firms that use them as well. They can get into our CIC, they can get into all of our old documents that we house here to do all of their title work without having to come into the office or call us to do it, which we don't do title work. So our copy fees that we collect, 50 cents per page when somebody wants a deed or something printed off, we charge that. We have copy accounts, that's the same as their reconciling accounts. The weekly, monthly contract, that's the $25 a day or $250 a month. That's our data service contract, which they have access to CIC. And they do charge 50 cents per page for anything that they print off. We charge the email stuff. And that kind of sums up that page. Sometimes when I bring numbers to you, second page there will show you kind of my work that I do putting those numbers together. And I keep track of them over the year. You can see we're up just a little bit this year compared to the same time last year on mortgage recordings. We are up about 30% on UCC recordings from the same time last year. Miscellaneous documents are also up. And then you can see at the bottom down there the amounts that we collect on recording those documents. And that's to date for 2025 and comparing it to date from 2024. And then that next form is just what I use I pull out of CIC for a report. It's kind of where I get a lot of my numbers from. And then the next one you'll see it has e-recordings on it. And this goes all the way back to when we started in 2022. We are up actually, we do 22% of our recordings are e-record at this time, which is going up every year. We have a 38% increase in e-records from last year to date, and we are 30% increase in the amounts that we have taken in on e-records from last year to date. So that's something that's continually going on. And I only have one e-recording system that I use. Several counties use several more, but right now we're doing okay with Simple File, so we might look here in the future of adding another one. Probably in 2027, we'll add maybe another one. See how that goes for us. But that's where a lot of our recordings are going. It's e-records. It's instantaneous. If I have to reject a document, they get it on the other end quickly. They can fix it and send it right back. It doesn't take a week to go through the mail. So title companies and banks use it a lot. Our online data search, this is the $25 a day, $250 a month. I kind of broke it down monthly of what we collect over the last several years. To date, we have 212 subscribers, or 212 entities that have used it to date from the beginning of the year. And then you can see our fees that we've collected and our printing fees we've collected, and number of pages that have been printed is 1,500, just a little over 1,500 pages off of that. So we do have a lot of people that like to use that service. Unfortunately, they can't get to the really old documents, but they can do, I think it's, some of it's 30 years back they can do NCIC, just depending on what they're looking for. Because we still are not indexed it all the way back. We have hundreds of thousands of documents that we are working on getting indexed. The next one is just, those are the people that hold our accounts, the contracts. So, and you can see that halfway through the year, I kind of lowered that contract because they were already halfway through the year. So I made it $300 instead of $600 for the year. I gave you guys a copy of our contract that Doug originally helped me put together in the very beginning when we started it. We did start it out at $1,000 a year for that contract, but because we've had so many issues with CIC and they can't get online, they can't do their research, I kind of lowered it to $600, and I think that's why I picked up more contracts. We've actually had 2 contracts you can see there after June of this year. I have a contract with the City of Abilene. I send them every month a list of deeds that have been recorded for whatever purpose they need it for. Works out, they like it. I charge them $200 a year for that, and they seem to be okay with doing that. So, and you can see that between those 2 different types of contracts, we have $6,800 that we brought in on those contract fees. And we get a lot of inquiries about those fees or those contracts. I've had several this last week, so probably going to have a few more of those contracts next year. Like I said, I gave you an outline of the contract that we use. So if there's anything that we need to change or you suggest, we definitely can do that. I can work with Doug and we can get them changed. I do want to bring up, yesterday we had an e-record come in, and these are the things that I think a lot of people don't understand, that from the outside looking in, my office looks like we're not busy, but we are. But this is something that we have to keep in the back of our minds when we get something like this. We had a notary come through that was from Canada. Well, in the back of my mind, I remember in conversations with other RODs that there's something we have to do with the Canadian notary. They have to have what they call an apostle certificate. Okay, it was created under the, is it Hague Convention, and it's used to authenticate public documents for international use. So when we get an international notary, we have to know that there is another certificate that has to go with that before we're allowed to take that document. And they should know that because they're part of that convention. So, but those are the things that come up randomly that we have to deal with, that, you know, I've got to know what the answer is. And if I don't know the answer, how do I find that answer?
Are there other countries that you
we
get a notary from occasionally, or?
Yeah, we've had some from, I think somebody had one from Portugal.
All right, well, that was coming along good, you know, took a little bit of a heat, but.
Man, the beans though.
There's one guy.
They brought some beans back to life.
Tallest beans that he's ever had in his life.
I'm telling you.
And he said it full of pods, full of
I
pods.
swear it grew 4 inches
Yeah.
that day. Like it just.
He wanted to take his wife out there and take pictures. I said, no, take your grandchildren out there. Because it's more cool when you see little ones and then the beans way over the top of kids, you know.
You know, when I was in school, at college, I went to college, and I was with a farm kid. And he goes, man, we lived in eastern Kansas. He goes, we got beans, you know, up to here. And I said, no.
They do
And he goes,
that.
yeah, I never seen no beans up to my waist. And he goes, I swear to God.
Yep.
And I'm like, because at that time, you know, bean wasn't what it is now here.
Disappointing.
Well,
We had really tall beans, if it doesn't rain in August. And we were really
nothing comes out of it.
Did you get Brenda trains?
Say again?
Did you get Brenda trains?
No, I think, well, I mean, yeah, we got 7,200.
Do you have audio
About a minute.
to up? It's not going in and out.
Okay.
Recording or broadcasting.
It poured where we at, but then you drove, my dad, he went to Salina during that. He goes, you drove through Solomon, it was dry, and then you hit the camera, it was kind of wet. It was kind of patchy, it seems like. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain, to be honest with you. But it did.
Take it, we're good.
Worked for my lawn loved it. Been drawing back the water on it.
Yeah, we had a lot of wind that just tore the heck out of the trees. And then Junction got hit real bad like that too.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that's what, trees are going wild, aren't they?
Yeah, branch, I mean, they bust off a bunch of branches, you know.
Yeah. Still gotta go clean them all up.
Yep.
Yeah, now that I work for Canada Expo, I should apply for that bird permit.
For what?
I actually apply for that bird permit. You know, I didn't know there were rules like that. You know, I'm a country boy, man. Collect all your sticks and burn them.
Yeah.
It would, you know,
Oh, yeah.
mulch the rest of it.
Almost bad as if you have a barn or something, it's so technical. Get from the barn down.
And I asked her, I hope I didn't break any rules. I moved my pump shed. I said, it's kind of a problem. Moved it, and then I buried the pump, put a little house over, you know, for the well.
Yeah.
And just, it was right behind my house. And it was weird how he set it up. He had a water heater out there as a holding tank. It was weird.
Oh, for his pressure tank.
Yeah.
I would think it probably had holes in
I
it.
didn't do anything. I don't know why he did it.
Oh.
It confused the heck out of me why he did it. I had no idea.
Really, you didn't have to have a pressure tank. You could go right out your well. The only thing is you got to plug in and plug it.
I just pressure tank.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it because you have a switch on it.
Yeah, and you kind of need it.
You do.
Once you get to like 20 gallons, 30 gallons, pump starts trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you got 2 or 3 kids and everyone's taking a shower in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought I bought a big water heater. I got like 100-gallon water heater. It's way too big.
Goodness.
I don't think I was, yeah.
I didn't want to run out.
No.
I should. I think what I'll do is get that inline one though. You seen them?
It just heats up as it comes
As
through.
it comes out.
Yeah, in Europe they use those. That's what they use in Europe. They don't use this. Ones that we do.
Been told to use electric, not gas.
We can't use electric in our town. Your bill would be so damn high.
Oh, they won't
kill you.
Really?
We have a lot of, our water's got a lot of,
You got a clean copy of
Okay.
the resolution for you. That's going to be signed.
chunky material in it, but what it does.
And then here's a clean copy for you that you can write on. How's it going?
We should be good to go. We are recording, all the mics are on, we are broadcasting. Dustin double checked, he's been hearing all of the audio through there. He did ask that I stay up here through the budget hearing.
Okay.
I think all that's essentially left is the screen sharing for when you start the completion.
Yep.
Is there an executive session?
There is.
There it is. Okay.
Yes. So we'll just stop it or mute.
Yes. You just, all you gotta do is just turn both of those off
Can do.
and be able to see your hand.
Okay.
Good session.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dustin tried to join you all throughout the thing. There was lots of buzzing.
Jennifer, they want to write it on.
We're gonna sit here.
I can. Does that mean I'm also driving the PowerPoint?
I'll drive the PowerPoint. Well, here.
Everyone wants lower taxes here, just in case.
There is messaging.
Yeah, there was lots of buzzing.
That's probably makes sense.
I do things that you guys probably.
That's,
That's fine. Never fails.
Just asked, do you guys need more budget or what?
Okay, can you show me who's online too, because Raquel's gonna need to know that too. Oh, yes, sorry. IT and Matt, okay, thank you.
also chairing.
I wonder if the sheriff's department, they're, fly that drone up, get a little more of an aerial shot.
I have not heard that one.
Certainly ask them, but Ricky has the drone too.
You ever drone today?
Aerial
The building, just get a little higher. The county courthouse.
Oh, yes, no, I've got all kinds of aerial views of the courthouse.
Yeah. No, sure.
I can,
I've been wanting a really good view, actually. For my Facebook. Some of your pics, yeah.
Ricky can get that.
I got
Trust
one,
me.
it's the state with our county blue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want that, that's like okay, but
Yeah, no, I get
I
that.
was trying to steal it.
take that one.
Okay.
Storage.
We are good to go.
Oh, this one doesn't have permissions.
No, it doesn't.
I thought everybody had permissions in my GIS stuff.
Nope.
How long is our executive session estimated?
3 minutes.
30.
30?
Okay, let's import the images on the kit series.
Oh,
It's up to you, it's not about that.
There you go.
pull them up and
It's
see.
not big enough. You tell, yeah,
Nice.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, if you think it's enough.
This is probably one of these, probably is for someone else.
I got one.
Two pipeline.
Mouse over here.
Vern Myers.
I got one already.
Here,
There.
Oh, no, I can't.
it says Laverne, that's your district.
It's my,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Well, your thumb drives.
Need that extra reading.
You have a little scratch thing, we can scratch and see, smell what it is.
That's a fire.
Well, they say you scratch this, it smells, leaking propane will smell like fuel, will smell like, you know, in your, around your residence.
Click before you do it. After
I love those commercials where he's digging. And I want to hit nothing, he did something.
You're just so excited?
Yeah. That was it. I woke up like, I don't want to sleep. No. Well, I don't know.
And first of all, they didn't put it with the foundation, but they said they were gonna put it. So our crane won't reach.
Yeah, but no.
Room to get there. They-
Make sure we point to.
Maybe their sprinkling system.
Well, because, no, because Marcus is gonna do the presentation.
It's gonna face the sidewalk. It's a big request. It's gonna face the sidewalk. It's inside the sidewalk.
Yeah.
When they have the dedication, they're gonna set all the chairs up in the grass.
Up to the grades.
Which, well, no, not, this is Victory Park.
Okay, Victory. Oh, the port?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they want us to face the monument, the opposite direction.
No,
And then after the ceremony, they want to spin the face the direction it's supposed
I
to go
know,
in.
you just gotta do it.
I know, but
It's
I'm,
the biggest thing, yeah,
but I'm like,
yeah, I hear you.
oh my gosh, you know, this isn't,
That's never done.
Oh.
So, but that's okay.
I hear you.
Public
If we tear out that,
comments.
we need to check with our guys. I don't know.
I mean, it does show up in front of that,
Necessary, but
But that's okay. It'll just,
but if
it'll be
Marcus is
fine.
trying to get his accreditation.
No, it'll just be.
He wants public comment.
It'll be
Just
great.
because we're gonna have the truck run up like this.
Oh, I see.
So it's not,
Can be level.
I know that changes the angle, so even if you're there, if the truck is this way, the more of an angle, so you've got to kind of recalibrate how much weight you can do, you know, and kind of like, oh my goodness. So initially, I thought I could be in and out of there in an hour's time.
So it's a half a day, Lynn.
Yeah, and I got another job to do at the
So, Leah,
Gonna do
she
two.
got CIC this week.
One on the fourth and then
Okay, yeah.
No.
It's business.
And he's-
Boys can.
So I'm trying to do a 2 in one trip.
Make $5,000
Mhm.
payment.
And then the day they,
And it's,
so I'm not gonna do
That's something.
September 11th. Because the Thursday or
Yeah, I
September
just wanna know what the
12th,
conversation
it's like the 12th. I have all their other stuff. And plus I've got, it's just,
Mhm.
I call this meeting to order. If we'd all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Today, we are going to have the 2026 budget hearing, which will begin at 11:05 a.m. We'll certify the abstract of votes casted in the local election. We'll consider the adoption of fiscal year 2026 budget, and we'll also break for an executive session. And I'm sorry, I'm remiss. We also have voting on resolution 082125, which is establishing the juror fees to be paid from the county general fund for jury duty. And then we will have an executive session for a period of 20 minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Or the approval, sorry.
I'll approve the agenda.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving down to consent agenda. Minutes are provided for you in your packets, Commissioner, of August 14th meeting. Expenditures of $365,246.29. SD security of $4,617 and credit cards of $36,271.06.
and commissioners, I believe you should add the minutes for the canvas as well.
And as County Administrator General Dr. just said, we're going to add the minutes from the canvas from last week as well to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a move.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving down to commissioner comments, committee reports. I actually don't have anything to report this week. We'll go ahead and move down. Plan or?
I attended, there was a ribbon cutting for Neighbor to Neighbor. They have a new location in downtown Abilene. It's what years ago was the United Trust Building, Smart Insurance and various things, but they're in part of that building. And so they had their ribbon cutting. Also Twin Valley, they had on cybersecurity, they had a gathering and presented a lot of safeguards you can do. And of course, you know, here in the county, we have that in place and we have departments dedicated for that and we're on top of things. But what they were trying to reach out is to businesses and how regardless of the size of the business, that's something you better pay attention to. And, you know, they gave the example of one company that actually is a hospital. that had quite a few employees, not in this immediate area, but they had insurance. But on their insurance form, they had put some of the things that they had in place for cybersecurity, and they did not have all of those in place, and so their claim was denied on that basis. And so they were, mentioning how important it is to have not only the checklist of what you go through, but that you better be doing those things. And then also General Roan, Monty Roan over at Fort Riley had his barbecue. There were about probably 250 people there from Geary County, Riley County, and Dickinson County. So I did attend that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lynn. Ron?
I did spend a little time at the juvenile detention center, and we sat there and ate ice cream and told stories and enjoyed ourselves. Had some nice meals there and came home later in the afternoon, but everything's working fine. Little humor, you guys.
All right. No ice cream today, by the way.
Thank you, Ron. Anything else?
Welcome.
Thank you. We have no petitions or proclamations. We'll move on to a period for public comment. If County Administrator John Dockendorf will read the rules.
Per the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is at the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. Please state your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments should be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You can make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address and you agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Thank you. I can't actually see the online people. Do we have any questions? Oh, we don't have any. Okay. I think that pretty well clears it up then. Any comments from the crowd? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead and get started with the two, oh no, I'm sorry. We have county officer reports. I apologize. Let's start with County Administrator Janelle Dock.
Actually, you've already set the
Should we,
hearing.
that's why I was gonna ask that question.
Let's go
Since we
ahead
said it, we gotta get it going.
Yes,
right?
yes. So we'll
Okay.
have the presentation first.
Get to open the hearing.
Yeah,
Gavel the hearing.
we got it open.
Yeah.
Item a little information, just, the hearing's now open.
Yeah.
We are now in the 2026 budget hearing.
Sounds official.
So good. All right.
Well, I have done this a variety of directions in the past. I used to, at some point, I would go through page by page and kind of run through the entire budget. A lot of glossy eyes in the audience and people falling over asleep. So now, kind of gone this other direction where I want to present just what we do is we give an overview of really what the services we provide and how this budget really works. I think the people in this room are the ones that actually make this budget function. So we go and we talk about numbers, we set those in place, and then all the department heads, all the staff, all of those people actually go out and live that every day, and they have to function under that. So it really, when we talk about, and we can move to the next slide, we talk about what the purpose of the budget is. The budget's really just a financial planning tool that specifies the level of service that we can provide for that year. So we put these in place so that we make sure that we are allowed and able to provide the services needed to our county and our taxpayers. In the 2026 total budget, it is $32,925,464, and that covers 37 different funds across the entire budget. This year, I'm happy to present with the help of all of these staff members, our department heads, the commission, all elected officials, everybody came together and really worked hard. They heard from the people, and I feel like they did their due diligence to make sure that we were able to bring in a budget with an overall budget reduction of $1.3 million, a property tax reduction of $516,405, and a mill levy reduction of about 7%, which came in at 3.634 mills lower than last year. So when we really move into the next slide, when we talk about the Dickinson County budget, when you meet anyone on the street, for the most part, they're really concerned about their property taxes, the taxes that they're paying in. They're concerned about sales tax as well. But when we talk about that entire budget, I said there was 37 different funds. Well, actually, only 6 of those funds are property tax funds. So that means that we have ad valorem or property tax dollars that go to help support the functions and services of these 6 funds. Those funds are the general fund, road and bridge department, health department, noxious weed. We have an EMS bond and interest, and the courthouse renovation jail project. And those last 2 are debt service that we're actually paying back year by year. Moving to the next slide. So this is where I just want to talk about some of the services. I want to talk about really what this budget does for us and what it does for our taxpayers. So our highway department has a lot of responsibility. We have over 205 miles of paved roads that we have to maintain, 108 miles of gravel road that we maintain. Just this year alone, we're looking at 30 miles of 2-inch overlay that we did. We contracted out a portion of that was paid through by the sales tax street or highway fund. And that is on 1400 Avenue. And we basically were able to put a 2-inch overlay over that entire stretch. I'm already hearing a lot of compliments on that. I'm just happy to see that road's been improved. We did 33 miles of chip seal, 100 miles of paint striping, and we've also added in 2 miles of micro seal this year, which is a new product that we're testing out to see how that holds up. We've seen a lot of the cities in the area have also tested this out and tried it. Abilene is trying it. I think even Woodbine got some new roads with that micro seal. So we're going to see how that wears over time, and that may be a good added value that the county can use in the future. The county is also responsible for 290 bridges and 1,300 structures that are under 20 feet. And they don't sound like dollars, but that's the stuff that really comes to you guys every week when we start talking about bridges. We've had to close 1 in the last couple of years. And those are the questions. How many people do we have utilizing those bridges? Are there other routes? What can we do in the future to help lower costs to our taxpayers? Moving to the next slide, we've got the noxious weed department. They cover over 20,000 plus acres of bindweed. They sprayed for 12,000 acres of musk thistle for the noxious weed. They also do all the mowing along the county roads. I know right now we're getting some calls about the mowing. We're getting out there and addressing that as quickly as we can. But as they're getting pulled in so many different directions, we've had a little bit more rain than we've seen in some of the past summers. That mowing can be a challenge, but I can tell you they're getting out there and they're going to get to it. So we also have the environmental services, which is our transfer station. They process over 10,000 tons of waste, 1,500 gallons of latex paint recycled, 2,500 gallons of used oil, 20 plus tons of e-waste. They do lender evaluations, water tests and samples. They also issue permits for wastewater and water wells. And some of this, if you catch me just reading off here, I just think some of this is important that we want to make sure the taxpayers really understand what the services are and what we're providing through this budget. So I want to make sure that we cover all of these items. Moving on to the next, we also have the district court. There was 3,689 cases that were filed last year, 33,247 documents that were e-filed. The courts collected in restitution for victims over $18,000, and there were 4 jury trials held. And that's when we're looking back in the past years, we're looking at 2024 there. As you heard the judge say today when he stepped in, I think we've already had 8 jury trials in 2025. So obviously that's ramping up. And so I expect that to continue moving into the upcoming years. On the next slide, we move into the sheriff and jail department. Here in 2024, we had 395 arrests, 3,490 civil process served, 2,432 traffic stops, 337 warrants were served. In the jail, we actually booked in 786 individuals. 771 of those were adults and 15 juveniles. And those juveniles obviously get transferred over, as Ron mentioned earlier, to the Juvenile Detention Center. Right now, our average daily inmate population is about 38, with the highest being 50 and the lowest was 25 over that past year. So they are staying busy. Unfortunately, no matter how much we get out there and try to take away from crime, we still are going to have some people in our jail from here to here and there. Moving on to EMS. Representative Willison was in earlier, and he did kind of mention about how much our budget has grown, and that is a very valid point. He talked about 2010. Well, in 2010, we actually didn't even have the EMS department. So there's been a lot of change since then to our budget, which has, when you look at the overall budget, it does get a little concerning. But that's why I kind of like to talk about those property tax funds and how you can separate those out. But when we take on new services, it's not necessarily that that's an added service. It is to the county, but we're just kind of transferring who's responsible for that. So in the past, we had the hospital was covering EMS, and the county at that point decided this was something that it would make sense for the county to take on. So when we did that, that does grow your budget, it grows your employees, it grows your personnel, but that's a service that is expected from our taxpayers, and that was one of the decisions we made at the time. EMS right now, calls responded to in 2025 alone already is up to 1,438 calls compared to last year, which was 1,331. Patients transported is also up from 832 in 2024 from the same time period to 902 this year. Average call time right now is pretty close, around that 50 minutes. And then the average time on scene has increased by 3 minutes, so from 19 minutes to 22 minutes. Now, just so you realize, anyone listening at home or anyone who watches the video in the future, that is just looking at this time frame from January to July and not a full time. So you can almost double those numbers. It's a little bit more than half the year, but I would expect to see those calls continue for the rest of the year. And we also have the health department that still offers services for vaccines, and they provide the services for WIC, which is women, infant, and children. The county clerk's office, we have over 13,000 registered voters in the county. They handle all the election services. They also assist and prepare over 50 homestead tax returns. The treasurer's office, we have 91 taxing entities that receive funds through the county, and they process over 31,000 motor vehicle transactions and 3,000 driver's license and ID renewals. Appraiser's office, they per statute have to go out and see, out of the 14,000 parcels that we have in Dickinson County, they have to see 1/7 of those every single year per statute. So that keeps them out looking at those properties pretty regularly. Planning and zoning, Tim's had a very busy year, as depending on how those conditional use permits come in, it's not always in our control, depending on who's going to come to the county and who's going to provide an application to us. But depending on the size of that application, it can require quite a bit of time, and Tim's been staying very busy over the last couple of years with that. Also takes on a lot of building permits. You get your secondary structures, housing, any new houses that are built in the county, that goes through our planning and zoning as well. We also have IT and GIS. GIS maintains over 100 layers, and he's lucky enough to get to sit in the room with us today and hear this presentation. We have our county website. We still get over 1,600 searches per day, and they also have a huge role in our cybersecurity monitoring, which continues to grow and get more dangerous each year. It seems like everywhere you look, there's something cybersecurity popping up at us, and another risk that we have to try to mitigate moving into the future. For emergency management, Chancey, he's taken on the CERT program, has 110 volunteers through Dickinson County. Chancey gets out and participates in a lot of regional trainings. He puts on a lot of those regional trainings and gives a very big leadership role for our entire region when it comes to emergency management. 911 and emergency communications. typically would have two dispatchers on duty 24/7, 365. Some personnel challenges right now. That may not always be the case in the upcoming months, but we are working to fill those positions so we make sure that we always have that service ready to go for our taxpayers. They receive over 40,000 calls per year, and they also take on 27,000 calls that are for police, fire, and EMS. Our county attorney, you can look at that year-to-year comparison there. Won't run through all of the numbers, but you can see in the adult criminal cases, it actually went down from 23 to 24, from 305 to 287. Traffic cases, though, turned around and went up by 300 cases. So you just don't know what you're going to have every year. The juvenile criminal cases, that also declined from 23 to 24. Child in need of care cases went from 48 to 33. And then, as I talked earlier, the jury trials, even since I made this slide, I think another jury trial has actually occurred, because it sounds like we're up to 8 and I had 7 on this slide. So that continues to change as the year goes on as well. Register of Deeds office, you heard from her today in our study session. Obviously, Rose stays very busy. They record all the property transactions in the county. They filed 2,919 documents in 2024, and of that, 1,068 deeds and 670 mortgages. So now that we've covered that, what it takes to provide all those services, now we'll talk about staffing. So you can see where our heavy portions are. You have safety and sheriff, jail. We've got our road and bridges. We have 18 employees. Sheriff has 25, jail has 18. The big purple slot there, for some reason, EMS did not show up on the screen, but it's showing on mine. And we have 21 employees, as I mentioned before, in our EMS department. Then you can kind of tell throughout, we have a lot of supportive roles in all of the other departments, and most of those have just a handful of employees doing the work that I just ran through with you. One thing I just wanted to touch on that staffing structure was just to let you know, actually the budget for 2026, another big portion of where there was some savings came from last year. We were reviewing that pay plan analysis, and so we had to put in some early numbers prior to be approved of the budget, prior to being able to actually lock down and confirm where we were going to end those numbers. So those negotiations continued. As that came down, there was actually a budget savings of a little $500,000 that came into the 2026 budget. So now let's talk about the mill levy history. So the county has been doing a really good job, in my opinion, over the last 4 years of trying to hold back and lower that mill levy. So you can see we peaked at 56.891 mills in 2022. And since then, this is now our 4th year in a row of lowering the mill levy. From 2022 until 2026, we're actually down 12% since 2022. And with the largest percentage obviously coming in this year, where we're down 7%. So I can tell you, when you look at that 56.891 and the value of the mill, you can see is $283,571 for 2026. What we've really done is we've kind of held those dollars. I know they haven't declined significantly, but as the assessed value has gone up, we're not really reinvesting the assessed value back into the county. Instead, we have kind of been giving those savings back to our taxpayers. So we're trying to make sure that we do that by lowering the mill levy. So we're bringing in a somewhat of a similar dollar amount, but we've been able to lower the mill levy. So this year, though, fortunately, with that major 7% cut, we've been able to provide over $500,000 in property tax relief to our taxpayers in this year. Now, I did want to show, because we get this question a lot about, well, I could move somewhere else in the county or in the state, and I wouldn't have to pay nearly as much in property tax. So I think it's important. Sometimes we don't have a lot to, and I don't say we need to argue with anyone, but sometimes it's good to have some numbers just to actually be able to show where we really stand. So Dickinson County, I'm using 2025 because that's the only data I had available with all the other counties, because clearly being one day into setting our budgets, not a whole lot of counties and cities have set their budgets yet, but Dickinson County came in at 53.8 mills in 2025. That puts us 36th lowest in the state out of 105 counties. So we're not the lowest, we're not the highest. You can see when you look on this graph though that Johnson County is the lowest. Well, and then you see Greeley County, which is a small county, is one of the higher, and you actually see that trend pretty regular. The smaller the county, the lower the population. It turns out that they have to rely more heavily on their property taxes as revenue sources because they don't have a lot of sources of revenue. Moving on to the next slide, this is another way of looking at kind of somewhat of the same data. You take the property taxes and you just divide it by your population so that you can kind of get an idea per population how much tax goes per person. So Dickinson County comes in at $802 per person. And when you look at this, it's interesting that along with the mill levy, that the dollar amount per population kind of comes in. It's very similar in that layout for where the counties come in. In this place, we're actually lower. We're down to 34 out of 105 counties. So once again, not the highest, not the lowest. We're not even quite in the middle, but we're towards the better side of that, I suppose, for more affordable counties to live in the state of Kansas. To move on to the next slide, I just wanted to touch then after that on our revenue. We talked a lot about property tax. Obviously, property tax is a significant revenue source for us. We continue to seek out and try to find new revenue sources. It's a challenge that all county governments, city governments are struggling with today, so that you don't have to supplement so much with property tax, but there is still a large portion of our revenue that comes from property tax. I can tell you we sat in on a call last week with a pretty good number of county administrators across the state, and there was really just a deflated feeling in the room. Janelle and I were probably two of the happier people in there, coming out in a little more positive route, but you could tell they're all facing some real struggles, some real challenges, and a lot of pressure to keep the cost down, and they're not sure how to do it. So this isn't just Dickinson County, it's across the state. We're all seeing these challenges. So until we can find new revenue sources, we're going to be kind of in this situation. You can tell our sales tax is helping to support us to an extent in certain areas. We do have a general fund sales tax. We also have a highway sales tax, which I think has been vital to keeping all of those roads in good condition for Dickinson County. The rest of the fees, as you can tell, the fees they don't really keep up with the overall. Trying to charge usage fees makes it very difficult with the cost of doing business these days. So it is still supported heavily by property tax. All right, so now we're going to get into how this affects me. You as the taxpayer, what does this do for me? I just covered a lot of information. So let's go ahead and just talk about one of the actual R&R slides. I think you can go down to slide 19. So I brought up, this is the city of Abilene, and this is a home in the city of Abilene. So last year it was appraised at $188,000. It's now up to $197,000 in appraised value based on the market and all of the information that our appraiser's office has to put into their calculations. I've highlighted the county's line. You can see last year that for this house, which happens to be my house, I just went ahead and used my own property tax sheet just to make it more easy and I can speak to it. That the county last year I paid $1,163.10, and this year I'm going to be paying $1,142.78. So the county has lowered my taxes by about $20 overall for my house, which I do appreciate. But if you look at the number at the bottom, you can see that my taxes overall is actually going up by $173 based on this revenue neutral rate number. I know this alone brings out a lot of questions and a lot of misunderstanding, some confusion. The biggest challenge I have with it from the state, I understand the point. The revenue neutral rate, I see we're trying to hold the dollar, send the message out. The point of it was to get this notice out in time so that our taxpayers could come and actually come to our budget hearings and have an opportunity to speak about their concerns with these sheets. So we send these out early. The problem is they're not really accurate. So because none of these budgets have been set at this time. So we're sending this information to our taxpayers. And if in our case, we did not hold a revenue neutral rate hearing because we knew we were comfortably under the revenue neutral rate. But all of these other taxpaying entities actually had to send out a revenue neutral rate hearing notice. So they are holding a revenue neutral rate hearing, whether they choose to come under the revenue neutral rate or not. So send this message now, and I'll just pick one. I hate to do the city of Abilene or the school district because I don't want to, but we'll just go with Abilene here. So Abilene shows that their mill levy was going to be at 40 or was at 45.648 last year. On this sheet, their proposed taxes coming in with an increase of about 2 at 47.55, where the revenue neutral rate would have meant they would have had to cut their mill levy by about 2 mils. So they have that 47.556 on there. I don't know where they're going to come in, but that's likely, that's the high end, the max they had to set in order to prove that they were going to have a revenue neutral rate hearing. But in reality, they might come in at 44 mils. They could come in at 43.515 mils. But this sheet that's already gone out to our taxpayers, now they believe that this is what they're going to get taxed on. And that's my biggest concern with the state and the revenue neutral rate is it forces us to send out information a little early. And that can cause a lot of confusion to our taxpayers. I don't know the best way because I want them to be informed. I want them to understand. I'd like to send them actual set numbers, but then it's too late because the budget's already passed. So I understand why it happened, but that's one of my challenges with the R&R sheet. Now we're going to move down. This one's going to look very similar, but I wanted to show one more property because when I look at the city of Abilene, or this house in the city of Abilene, the first one we saw, there was 33% of that was the county, 31% is the city, and then 30% is the school district. What I wanted to show on the second one, this is Woodbine, is that depending on where you live, the percentage that goes to what taxing entity can change. So here in the city of Woodbine, you're actually looking at 34% of your taxes are going to the county, 35% goes to the city of Woodbine, and then 21% goes to the school district. So they have a lower number going to the school districts in that area, but they have more that goes to some of the smaller districts like the Liberty Township or the Chisholm Trail Extension District, those kinds of things. So there's a higher percentage there. So you really have to look at your taxes, look at the total from everybody. And even if one entity provides a cut, it doesn't necessarily mean that your taxes are going to go down. And if you ever have any questions on this, feel free to call us here at the county. I'd be happy to run through anybody's revenue neutral rate sheet with them and kind of walk that through. I know the clerk's office takes a lot of questions on this. Raquel probably won't appreciate me sending anyone that direction, so you can call me. You know, we'll all share the responsibility, and we will answer your questions. So now we're going to move to the next slide. This slide really just shows the true taxes and how this really affects our homeowners. So I like to give an example from 3 different variety of residential homes on here. So if you have a $100,000 house with the county's tax levy this year at 0.5 or 50.6, or 50.156, I'm sorry. We come in at $576.80 of taxes that are going to go towards the county. Last year, you would have paid $618.70. So you will see a savings of $41.90 on your $100,000 property. Now, if you don't have that exact savings from last year, come and talk to me, show me the sheet, I'll explain. But unfortunately, it means your house last year might have been at $100,000. This year, it may be at $103,000, and that's going to be the difference. So it won't be exactly $41, but you will still see a savings from the county. You can see on the $175,000 house, there's a difference in a savings of about $73.34. And on a $250,000 house, you're going to save just a little over $100 at $104.76. So moving to the next slide here, I like to kind of break this down because there's so much that's fit into the general fund, and I couldn't even list them all on this sheet because there's a lot under the general fund, and that can get a little confusing at times. So of that 50.156 mils, 29.631 mils go to the general fund. So that covers things like the sheriff jail, EMS, dispatch, county attorney, registered deeds, treasurers, everyone, most of the offices here in the courthouse. So you can see on an annual basis for the general fund, you're going to pay about $596.32. Or if you were to break that down per month, that's about $49.69. I can tell you just the other day, a guy showed up at my house with a motorized skateboard, and he was selling to spray for bugs in my yard. And he offered me at $49.69 to spray a month, to spray ongoing for the rest of the year. Compared to the value of all of the different offices in there and what you can get for $49.69 a month, I can tell you I could probably let a few bugs hop around in the yard if I have to. And I'd be more than happy to at least have EMS responding to my house when I need to, sheriff and jail to support, and to respond when my kid's going from Abilene to Chapman on Old 40, and to help keep us safe here in the county. You can also see on our road and bridge, for all of those roads that I talked about earlier, it costs about $25.84 per month. The health department, about $2.45 per month. Spraying for noxious weeds and keeping those down out in the county, less than $1, about 86 cents per month. The EMS bond and interest is down to 43 cents per month, and then you pay a little under $5 per month for this courthouse renovation on a house of $175,000. Obviously, there are people who have much more property and do pay a larger percentage. This is just an example for a $175,000 house, which when I put this together, that was roughly about the median value of a house here in the county. I'm going to click one more time. I just do a little bit of a comparison here. So your average energy bill, just to compare against some of these monthly costs, right now in Kansas came to about $175. I can tell you I would be more than happy to pay $175 right now, because in the summertime, my AC and everything running has been much higher than that. The average household cell phone bill these days is $141 per month. Average internet bill comes to about $78 per month. And even just your monthly streaming services comes in about $70 per month. So when you compare that to what you pay off of a $175,000 house, I just thought it was important enough to just kind of show, and you really think about this. I know it's not a subscription basis because it's taxes, but if you think about the value for your dollar, you get a lot of value out of our county services for what you pay in. Finally, I wanted to get down just to the budget summary. This is really the page. I've got copies here if anybody wants to take some with them. If the budget goes through and is passed, I plan to have this up on the county website as soon as possible, hopefully today or into tomorrow. And so if anyone has any more questions on the budget, feel free to ask us. Once again, this is a planning tool. We set this to make sure that we have the funds coming in. That doesn't mean that every single thing that was approved necessarily gets spent. We still come and talk to the commission. Taxpayers talk to the commission. There are still opportunities for people to share their voice and opinions, and we can still act accordingly. After that, I'd open it up for questions. Anybody have any questions for me?
I personally don't have any questions. We've been going through this for a while. I'm not going to hammer you with more, but I just want to say thank you to everybody. This took the whole building and everybody that works for the county to accomplish, and I think our taxpayers are going to be appreciative, and I for one am very appreciative. So thank you for everyone's hard work, and good job is what I'd like to say. You have any questions?
I guess if there's any other opportunity, if anyone online or here wants to comment, it is a hearing where they can comment or question.
Will this be available, this presentation online?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's great, very well done.
You might step to the podium, please, and
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Barb Barrett, 1608 900 Avenue. No, I was here today. I've been listening into the budgets. Again, I echo Kenny's, I know it was a lot of work. It's never easy cutting. But as a taxpayer, I appreciate it because it's easier, a little bit easier to write that check. Another comment, what can we do to get the other taxing entities to follow suit? I know you all kind of had led that charge and we've got some reductions on that line. I know I looked at all of my statements and not everybody followed suit. So what can be done to collaborate with other entities and whatnot? I thought the presentation was great, Marcus. That really summarized up what's been talked about, and it was very easy to understand what's going on. So great job. I think there's more work to do. Do we know what the goal is for the next year? Is it another cut? Is it leave it
The goal is
status quo?
to maybe 10%, but we started with this and we'll see what next year brings.
Yeah, mission accomplished, and I believe in goals and accomplishing them and keep plugging along. So that's what I got.
I'm hopeful it's a trend.
Yeah.
And not just
Yeah.
that we took a dip and then ramped back up, but there's great challenges when you look at some of the materials that we use and some things that may come from the state of Kansas or the feds that are unfunded mandates that we're expected to take care of. But the responsibility may be handed off to us, but not necessarily the finances to take care of it. So it's challenging times.
That is something we need to be cognizant of the state and what they're going to do with their budget and what that's going to do to the associations and the other groups that we're a part of that are necessary for the functionality of our government and our services as a state and a county. So all of that has to be considered just for the public to understand. Juvenile detention, good example. The cost is going up. The state's wanting to lower what they're giving us. Counties have to foot the bill. That's how it kind of works. But I'm going to ditto that. Thank you for the presentation. I thought it was excellent. Thank you. Do we
need to close the hearing?
That's my question. Go ahead. So the hearing is adjourned for the budget hearing. Then do you want to do the adoption or do we move down to certify abstracts first?
So you could do the adoption if you so choose.
I think it makes sense in the linear timeline. I would consider a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget as presented by the County Finance Director, Marcus Rothschild.
I'll make a motion to accept the 26 budget.
I'll second that motion. Do we have any discussion? I'll say it once again for the record. Thank you. This was a tremendous effort. It's not gone unnoticed. Thank you. Really great work. Very, very impressed. So with that being said, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Big day. I'm excited. I'm excited, guys. I just want you to know. Okay, let's go. What'd you say?
I know, no clapping. That's
No
right.
clap. Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, I broke the rule. I better go.
It's a warning.
It's a warning. All right. Won't do it again. Sorry. Okay.
Do you want to go back up to reports of county officers?
I do.
Okay.
Yep. So why don't we go ahead and hear reports from our county administrator?
Commissioners, it's very exciting for me besides the budget, but to recognize some employees in the county for their hard work. And we have the sheriff and John here as well. And I'd like to have our employees come in at some point when we get the chance, but I want to recognize Lieutenant Connie Jadaberg, the National Institute for Jail Operations Detention Supervisor of the Year, which is a tremendous honor for Connie. And she's shy. But we really appreciate her hard work for that. And then recognizing Dee Dee Lorson and Amber Peterson, who are certified Kansas community health workers. So they put a lot of time and effort into that. So, and we appreciate their hard work. So.
Absolutely. Thank you.
A couple of other things. We're pouring concrete and has been poured for the generator and the propane tank for the North Communications Tower. So we're moving forward with our 800 communication system. The Public Works Department has finished paving. Key Road from the Dillon Co-op to K4, and paint striping will start on Monday. And we're going to paint stripe 33 miles of chip seal, 30 miles of asphalt overlay, 2 miles of micro seal, and another 30 miles to restripe. MUTCD we have to comply with. They're mowing out Old 40, and there is a planning and zoning board meeting tonight at 7 p.m. That's all I would have.
Thank you. If we can get a report from County Councilor Doug Thompson. Do you have a report?
Thank you. The first thing I would say is I'm honored to be a part of the team, and all of the good people that are involved with this. It's tremendous. I'm the county councilor, and so in that setting, I take care of some legal matters, and we're working on the tax sale now. And anytime I've needed help with anything, any project that I'm doing for the city, I should say for the county, why then I have plenty of resources to go to, and each and every one of those individuals have been just tremendous to work with. And it's allowed me to be involved with the recovery court, to be able to have the time to work with that, and the county is right on board with it to support these folks that are going through the recovery. And I'm just thankful to be a part of the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug. Do we have any notices today?
You had the one that Raquel was going to.
Yeah. You want me to do it?
Doesn't matter, I can do it.
Up to you. You're in an odd spot. I can do it if you want me
Should we
to.
ever step to the podium, ladies?
Yeah, maybe step up and give that a one. I'm making you do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it, I promise.
Okay, so this is a letter for the compliance notification. It looks like there's a minimum of 75 points is required to successfully achieve it, which we have, or at least the county has met the criteria to determine the compliance. The efforts of our county appraiser and the appraiser staff to successfully complete the appraise cycle in a manner that should be commended. So our goal is to process a fair and equal treatment for all taxpayers.
Thank you. In other words, we are in compliant with the appraisal with the state office is what that means.
At 100%.
At 100%. I believe we're only required to be 75. So that's something to say about our appraiser's office. Okay, let's go back to other business. It would be to certify the abstract of votes cast. I believe that's going to be you again, right?
Raquel, you have the information on the certify the application for the vote.
So I have the abstract in the papers that need to be signed.
Okay.
But as far as, those are the green
Anything I need
totals,
to say, I guess is my question.
not that I know of, just to have a look at those numbers. Those are the grand totals of everything that's including the provisionals and stuff. Yeah, if you want to go over the grand totals, you're more than welcome to. That way you're on camera, but you did that.
You guys are welcome. Yeah, I think we've released them. Everyone knows.
So basically, we had met before and reviewed the provisional ballots as per law.
Yes,
And-
for the canvas.
And so then to go ahead and make it official from our results is what we're doing today.
And in that process, we walked them back with you, saw the votes go in. Me and Lynn witnessed that happen. Nothing, everything was by the book, in other words. I just wanted to note that. Okay. With that being said, I would entertain a motion to certify the abstract of votes casted on August 5th, 2025.
I'd so move.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. With that, we have another resolution, Resolution 082125, a resolution pursuant to KSA 43-171, establishing fees to be paid from the county general fund for jury duty. In sum, what this would do would raise the jury, once they have been selected as a juror to serve, would raise the per day fee that we give them from $10 to $25, just to try to help them compensate maybe some of their food and some other things, and that they would have to spend to be a part of that. So with that being said, I'll open it up for a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept KSA 43-171, changing the fees from $10 per day in appearing there to $25 a day for the extra days that they're there.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion on the matter?
It was just presented to us during the work study session that we were perhaps 8th Judicial District were the lowest among all the fees in the entire state. And we had not really done anything on this for almost 20 years, back in 2006. So it's just kind of getting us up to speed. And we're still significantly less than some of the other counties and larger counties. But it's kind of where it needs to be.
Absolutely. Sounded like we have good participation, but we're just trying to maybe make them feel a little better about doing it, I think. Yeah. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries. I'm gonna take a quick break before this. I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay. I move that we recess to executive session under, oh my gosh, this one's a different one. I move that we move to executive session for non-elected personnel, to discuss non-elected personnel. I move that we go into executive session at 11:55 for a period of 20 minutes. We will resume session at 1:15.
12:15.
12:15 at 12:15 p.m.
Second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
To include.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrapped up in the budget still, guys. This executive session would include the county commissioners, county administrator Gerald Dockendorf, assistant county administrator Marcus Rothschild, and county councilor Doug Thompson. I apologize. Let me re-ask for that second.
So that's going to be starting at 11:55.
11:55.
To 12:15.
Yes, sir.
And that was for the
non-elected personnel.
Non-elected personnel, the 3 commissioners and Janelle and Marcus. And that was it.
And Doug.
And Doug also. Okay. Just one clarification.
No worries.
Non-elected personnel.
We have a second. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We will go into executive session at 11:55. I'm going to take a brief break to use the restroom. Okay.
No. Turn it back on.
You have us muted then?
Not yet, because we haven't gone to executive session.
Oh, okay. I just thought we adjourned until 11:55. We're still live because we're waiting executive session, just so you know.
Did you ever find any of those rosettes, those half-inch base rosettes? to fit in
No.
that plant? I got everything mounted,
Okay.
but it's just got 3 and there's just one missing.
You know, I mean, if I
Is it,
had them
okay.
custom made,
Okay.
I'm not sure what the price would be.
Well, and that's what I said. I got a couple other people looking. I said, if you just find a half-inch one, just get 4. We'll just replace 4. If we can't find one that matches, but.
I see the picture. Nice.
And the other one's mounted. Mark's gonna be bringing it up. We'll set it up on top.
This is a separate issue, but just kind of so you know, down there at Mount Hope Cemetery at Enterprise, I had an individual, he brought in a Civil War veterans flag holder. And so anyway, I went ahead and took those out of the cemetery because they needed to be repaired and some work done on them.
You know,
So he's gonna have me bring them back.
I wish I knew where they all went because there's people
I've
pick them
got
up
2 though.
and they're just, they've been.
Showed you already. I think I already
It'd be
showed
nice
you.
to just find new rods or get, I don't know what
We
to
can
get.
get- we should get Yeah, I bet I
Do they
did.
have to be brass or copper? Why can't they just be steel?
If it's something that rusts, it can create a
Oh, I see what
problem.
you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
But, let me get back with you on that.
There are so many of them bent up and tore up, and I hate it.
If there was a project we could do, then maybe someone, I think I've got some people that might work on that just as a goodwill type thing.
That'd be great, because they stink to mow around, but there's so many of them just bent up and tore up.
And, you know, some of that
It's
happened
history.
years ago and they've been laying there. So I mean, now that you're using weed eaters and more careful, it's not as.
When you're using not a zero turn mower, they brand stuff on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
Yeah.
I go to my neighbors usually. And
That's the, I don't like these examples.
oh, there's somebody.
They don't even know.
My neighbor did do that once. He stacked his along the highway 77 out here.
Yeah.
I mean, she kept coming messing. We began to put, me inside there and help, so scared and everything.
Yeah.
It was from Orange County.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
this is some kid, but.
Stop. He said, we can't do a thing about it.
And I know it's,
Right.
He said,
it's
yeah,
always different depending on what type of.
Well, Jim, I know where it's at. He said,
Yes,
We're
he was there, it
over
was
there.
very, so they cut the road.
That's the way-
And I was there as an investor.
Yeah, but just
Idiots.
Executive, what we do.
Probably know, hopefully people, because this is not for sure.
Well, everybody does.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think people would.
We
Yeah,
did.
so we kind of choose, okay.
So that long, 77.
Yeah.
And I remember,
Or
you know, from time to
Johnson
time.
City, but yeah, sure did.
Everybody.
Well, then there was a pickup truck in the ditch. Ron rolled it and picked up truck.
I mean, they had.
Yeah.
Their president, line, John Quinley, and had others, and then all the state reps were there, and, I mean, it was, well, yeah, and it was something that, you know, made the news. I mean, this was a regional, huge type thing, so we kind of have all sizes and
Open.
Yeah.
and approaches depending on what's being done.
Well, you were there. No, you weren't. I did the CEO orientation.
No.
That's a good program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't believe it. I mean, some of the kids are still involved in that.
I was just really impressed.
It is time to start.
Go ahead and close the door.
been wondering.
Oh, did I get it wrong?
No.
I was gonna say.
I think Jennifer's just usually ahead of schedule.
Well, she
1 minute
always
before?
knocks
It's
a
just 2
minute in
minutes?
advance. So it's 12:15. I would move that we leave executive session and return to regular session.
I'll second it.
You're fine.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Are we unmuted?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
They got that vote.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else for discussion today?
I don't have anything.
I'd move that we adjourn.
I'll second. Adjourn. Thank you.